should the party go? The next few days? The next few weeks?
All summer long, baby! We NBA champ!
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip.
Thank you. And like they said, enjoy this moment, and have fun with it. Ha, ha, ha.
Hello, Slidward sports fans. It is it's July. It's July 1st.
Yep.
NBA free agency just started. We got a lot to talk about. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk NBA free agency. We're going to talk U.S. men and women's soccer. We're going to do some segments, optimistic views with the Knicks. And we're bringing back Hakuna Matata. Matt, did I forget anything?
I think that's it. You know what? What do you put on the timeline? How long do you think it takes Drake to drop a diss track against Kawhi Leonard when he signs for the Lakers?
First off, I'm mad at Drake because I didn't get the song when the Raptors even won the championship. So he's too busy partying still.
He dropped two.
He did? I haven't heard him.
Yeah, he dropped Omerta and something else.
Were they any good?
No, I mean,
none
of his recent stuff has been that great.
Oh, so
best in the world pack, Omerta and Money in the Grave. Money in the Grave one was alright.
Alright.
I don't know, it's generic Drake. Like, he's not doing anything special, but yeah.
Alright. Well, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate us 5 stars or 4. You know, give good criticism if you're going to do a 4-star, though. Give good criticism if you're going to do a 5-star.
Productive criticism. Not just any, productive.
Yeah. Be nice about it. Be nice about it. We're sensitive guys on the pod. We're podcasters. We're sensitive.
I think our last one did pretty well, didn't it?
What? Our last what?
Our last podcast didn't do pretty well?
It did okay.
All
right, let's start with
trying to hype this up.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to stay humble on the podcast. You know, someone's got to be humble over here. All right. So what do you want to start with? Well, we'll start with free agency, obviously. But who in particular do you want to start with? What players? Okay. We got to start with Brooklyn.
I want to set the stage for our listeners because this is what happened with me. I was eating dinner and I forgot that I thought it was midnight. I forgot that they moved it back to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking, I was getting some notifications. I was like, oh, Kemba 141. It's like, oh, I knew that. I was like, why is that rumor popping up? And then I saw the it was the Al Horford one. I saw Al Horford to the Philly. I was like, wait a second. They wouldn't be announcing that. I was like, oh no, it's official. And so I didn't get there until most of these deals had been done. So I was scrolling through it and I went from it was I had a bunch of things I knew, then some things that I knew they were leaving, and then there were things where it's I didn't even know that guy was a free agent. It was a whole thing from seeing Kyrie, and I knew he was going. You know, I saw Kevin Durant, and it was okay, I didn't know where he was going, but I knew he was going. We kind of saw it. Saw the Al Horford, and I was okay, I knew he was a free agent. I didn't have any clue that he'd go to Philly. And I saw the JJ Redick and the Julius Randle, and I was I didn't even know those guys were available.
Yeah,
it was a whole thing, and it was wild. But I feel we have to start with the KD.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
KD, Kyrie, DeAndre.
Before we do, I wanted to just talk about your thing. Yeah, the 6 o'clock start was a great thing. I loved it. Everyone started going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone kind of already knew where they were going already.
It was wild.
I don't understand the tampering rules anymore because everyone felt already knew what they were going to do.
Yeah.
There hasn't been many meetings. There hasn't been many meetings news stories this week, this year.
Well, what was so crazy is, I feel sorry.
Go ahead.
This happens always is, you have these, because we basically have, I like to think of it, 4 tiers of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Tier 1 is you max those guys no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. If you have a chance to max those guys, you max them.
Unless you're James Dolan.
unless you're James Dolan, like the KDs and the
Yeah.
Kawhis and stuff like that. Then you have the tier 2, which is like you max them if you're in a championship run and you need them. You max them if you're super small market and
All-star
maybe you're trying
players.
to attract other free agents.
Good all-star players, yes.
But you don't really want to max them. You max them and you're like, this might not be great. Then you have the tier 3, which are the really good role players. You know they can contribute to a championship team, but you might have to overpay them. Like that deal. It's like the Evan Turner. You're like, oh, Evan Turner's a very good player, but he just got $60 million over 3 years or 4 years or whatever, and I don't like that deal. And then you have your tier 4, which is everyone else. I feel like all the tier 1s and tier 2s are off the table.
Except for Kawhi, yeah.
Except for Kawhi. Basically, all the tier 1s and tier 2s were off the table like 2 hours into free agency. And it was just wild, just reading all of it.
Would you say Danny Green's a tier 3?
Yeah, because he's the very good role player, fits on a system. You might have to overpay for him.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think we have any tier 1s, 2s left that I can think of.
Yeah, besides Kawhi, like we said. We don't.
I feel bad for you missing out on and thinking it was starting at midnight. You probably had a lot of catching up to do because it was just hard to follow just live watching it. I'm watching The Jump. I'm watching Rachel Nichols. There's a report coming in every 3 seconds. It was nuts. I feel like everyone's on a different team now. Everything's different.
It was almost nice because I just scrolled down the timeline. Oh, that happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, wow, that happened.
I feel like we're gonna
I just kept scrolling.
I feel like we're going to go through players, and we're going to say that they're there, and you're like, oh, wow, I missed that one. But yeah, okay.
No, I looked through it. I did see all of them, and I checked the free agency tracker today. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into it because there's a lot to unpack.
I'm gonna make one up. I'm gonna make one or two up before we get. I'm just in the middle, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that kind of briefly now," and it's gonna be real funny, and it's never gonna happen. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, definitely don't do that with me because I will act like I know what's going on.
All right, let's start it. The big one. I guess we'll call it a Woj bomb. KD, Kyrie, DeAndre, they're going to Brooklyn. KD announced, he said, all right, 6 o'clock, I'm going to have my announcement on my Instagram page. It's my brand new Instagram thing. It's going to be awesome. Yep. And then Woj tweets maybe 2 minutes later. He's like, KD to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I have all the numbers. Everything's confirmed. Woj just completely destroyed KD's Instagram right there. Wasn't even worth it. The decision to Electric Boogaloo, what was supposed to be better than LeBron. KD was going to show up LeBron. Woj just said, nah, KD. I'm the decision here. I'm everything. Is free agency too much about the Woj right now?
I think that it's kind of tough because I think Woj does more damage to the draft. I think what he does more is he'll do that killing blow. And Shams is also does a lot of those because it's one of those things where we heard about Kyrie and KD teaming up to the Nets. You didn't know it was going to happen, but you heard the rumors, and then Woj comes out and says, "Yes, it is going to happen. This is the deal." So I think that's what Woj does is he'll tweet it and you'll be like, okay, it did happen, but you hear the rumors. So I think he does more with the draft when you just don't really know what teams are going to do. I
think Woj and Shams should be restricted to tweeting out contracts until 6 p.m. Until that deadline hits or the start hits, they shouldn't be allowed to leak stuff. And at least until the free agency period starts.
They should have to They should have to make it cryptic, like hide the message in there.
I like that.
If you read the first letter of my last 15 tweets, it says KD to the Nets.
I like that. That's good. Also,
you have to work for it.
I like that a lot. My rule also would apply for the draft, where he can't tweet the draft the pick out until 5 seconds before Silver announces it. He can be like, "Oh, I had it first. I had the scoop first," but just don't ruin the surprise. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how much it's go ahead. If you know that information, that's his job.
Yeah, I know, but it ruins, at least for the draft, it ruins the element of the surprise. But you can always just turn off Twitter, so whatever.
All right, so for Kevin Durant, the biggest thing that we have to talk about Dolan didn't give KD the max, and I do want to preface this. I don't 100%. Like Dolan says, he doesn't make the decisions, so I don't know if we should blame this on Dolan. However, we can't say that they have been terrible since Dolan has taken over. How do you not give KD the? I don't understand. They said they were worried about the Achilles. Who cares? You take your chance.
So all the Knicks moves have been like 2-year deals with a team option, I believe. So
Which I don't like.
Who's the free agent they're looking at? Giannis?
Yeah, the next big class is in 2021. I believe Giannis, Harden, and I think LeBron could opt out, and I think technically so could Anthony. No, I don't know about Anthony Davis. I think they have to work out their contract.
So you know,
I mean, a lot changes, but right now it could be a big one. But I think it's Giannis and Harden are the big, like those guys will be available.
So you know how we had like all the pictures like early in the year? It was Zion, it was Kevin Durant, and Kyrie. I'm gonna go ahead and just make the picture. It's gonna be Giannis, it's gonna be James Harden, and it's gonna be like Cole Anthony on the Knicks, just so they get their hopes up. That's what I want.
And RJ Barrett somehow becomes an all NBA player.
But anyway. I don't know what the deal was with them not offering a max. I don't know. I'm assuming it's Dolan. Dolan's just an incompetent owner. I like how
spell out incompetence more than anything. This is why they traded Kristaps, so they could have this thing to get their max players. Otherwise, they could have just kept Kristaps. I know you didn't want to be there, but still, you can keep him and try to work it out. You can pay him money, and he'll stay there and he'll play there. But they did this so they could get it, and then they went to the media saying, hey, KD's coming here. Hey, Kyrie Irving's coming here. It's a done deal. We've worked out the contracts. It's done. Mark it down. And then it doesn't happen. It's like this just shows that they're living in their own fantasy world right now. And I get it. Look, if I'm Kevin Durant, if I'm Kyrie, I'm not even looking at the Knicks. I'm saying I don't care about the New York market. I have my own business that I'm going to get a ton of followers if Woj doesn't blow it up on Instagram immediately. Like, I'm going to go wherever. And then I'm in New York anyway. I'm in Brooklyn.
They are still getting the New York media. So, well, the New York media does matter because they're still getting it right there. But, yeah, I know what you mean.
They're the younger brother of the New York media, but still.
So what your stance is taking is kind of the same perception as most sports media guys are taking, that the Mecca, it's overrated. The Knicks, they're nothing. No one wants to play in New York. No one wants to play with the Knicks. The ownership's just garbage. Everything from the ground just sucks. The practice facility sucks. The GM stinks. Everything about them just stinks. The medical staff's not good. And it never even felt like they were close to making any of these deals. And I don't understand why they're like thinking maybe they had a chance to get at the beginning of the middle well, not the beginning, but in the middle of the season, we're all like, oh, it's pretty done deal. They're going to get at least one max
even
guy.
Late in the season. And you know what? Do you remember me saying on a podcast a while back how I was like, if I'm Kevin Durant, I don't even look at the Knicks. Why do you want to go to a team that has been terrible for 25 years?
I think his perception would have been he wants to prove to everyone that he could bring him to the top. But, I mean, he has that chance in Brooklyn.
He's never had that mindset in his entire career. His entire career, he's always like, how can I get people to do it with me? You know, he's never wanted to be really the guy.
Well, I think in Brooklyn he will be the guy, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he was the guy with the Warriors, but
he's the guy. But
it's also like he wants to have situations. I mean, you saw it, which I know he didn't set it up that way, but with Westbrook, he had situations where he deferred. He said, "Look, I can shoot threes. I'll back down. I'll do a turnaround jumper, but you got this game. Like you take it over." And he was the same way with Steph in some of the finals. He was like, "Look, I'll do my thing, but you take it over." I mean, he does step up to the challenge. I don't want to say like I'm not trying to diss him. I think he just wants to be able to get his 30, be able to do his thing, and if he needs to give the ball to Kyrie, then he will, and he'll be fine with it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not like in New York where it's like if you don't take over the game and win for the team, the New York media is going to spit you out, even if you did make the quote unquote right basketball play.
Yeah. What we were talking about was how how he joins forces. I guess he needs these other guys. Well, that's the landscape of the NBA now. I don't think you can win a championship with just yourself. We've seen it with just this year with Giannis.